Preston Lee, my friend Preston Lee.
How's it going?
So Preston is a specialist, a friend of mine, specialist living in California, USA. He's going to speak about his experience in this industry, the restaurant industry. And I'm going to fire away straight away, Preston. Tell us about, give us a context of where you're coming from, what you have done in your past that qualifies you as a marketing specialist for restaurants and operations and marketing, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So I've been in the industry for 20 years. And I've spent the last 10 years helping implement systems and training. And I've also helped open 25 restaurants.
Wow, 25.
Yeah. And
how old are you?
I'm 39. Yeah, I'm 39. I'm gonna be 40 in a couple months. I tell people that I'm not saying that to boast. I'm actually saying that because it gave me a very unique insight into a lot of things that restaurants are missing during the restaurant opening and then during operations, when they are open.
As you speak, I'm going to interrupt you just to clarify some points. What do you consider to be the things that the restaurants lack most, in your opinion?
It's definitely systems. I say that because it's to put it on first principles. It's systems, but it's systems, and then on top of that, what's missing is proper training. And you can attest to this. Mm-hmm. For some weird reason, ever since the 70s, the restaurants have not really changed their training methods. It's mm-hmm. 2 weeks. It's then the duration doesn't matter, but it's 2 weeks. It's read this manual, take this test, follow this person, learn this POS system, and then please do that for the rest of the time you're here. Thank you.
They don't have these ongoing training system to keep things as they should be kept along the way.
Yes, 100%. And I always tell people that your training should be like personal development. Like when you do personal development, you don't do personal development for 1 month and then you say, okay, well, I'm all good. I've maxed out. I'm good. I don't need to develop anymore. I'm good as a person. It's you constantly, if you're serious about personal development, you are always growing. You're always trying to do personal development. You're always trying to learn new things and try and get better. You can never get too good at being patient. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you want to always keep developing those tools, and that's what you should be doing with your staff. You should be always developing them and always training them, always quizzing them, always encouraging them and mm-hmm. growing them. And that's part of good company culture. And that's another thing that's lacking too, right? Because we have the systems. On top of that, we have the improper training. And then what that adds up to, those two things add up to when you have those broken in your restaurant, then then you have bad culture. Okay. Now, why do you have bad culture? Well, because no one's growing in your restaurant, and anybody works in any kind of field, you want to grow to some degree. You want to keep learning. You want to keep getting new skill sets, right? I want to be the best server in the world. I want to go to a restaurant and say, I'm the best server in the world. And I have skill sets that 90% of servers don't have because I was taught all these unique skill sets as a server, not just here's our steps of service, do that every table and multitask and you're good to go. Make sure you don't get any complaints, make sure everyone leaves happy. That I can teach that to anybody. That's a very basic skill set.
It's good for both of them, for the owner and for the employee. Because if the server is growing, he has the feeling that he's growing in the company. He likes the company. He tells his wife that he's happy there. He's got the future. He sees his future in that company. Or even if he has to move from your company to another company, it's okay because you are training the next one already. You have the system in place, training the next person for that position, and you are not always afraid of losing someone because you have the whole structure organized around training. You said, Preston, let me tell you something. If I go to any restaurant here in Brazil and I ask the manager, which is the main thing, your main responsibility in this restaurant, there is not one of them. That's my experience. There is not one of them that says the main responsibility is training. And you agree with me, is the basic, is 100%. The number one priority.
And we say it out loud, it's so obvious, right? But for some reason in restaurants, it's not obvious. Training is literally, I mean, if you did like a pie, right? What's important to the restaurant? What's important? What's talked about the most? If you literally recorded every conversation the managers had for a whole month, and you go, what was the most important topic they talked about? Training would be, I don't even know if you'd be able to see it, because a training's like, oh, we have our training, right? It's 2 weeks. That, you know, like I told you, it's a book. We have it. And then a lot of times I talk to owners, they say, oh yeah, our training could be better. And it's like, your training could be exponentially better. But not only that, you needing better training is like an emergency.
Yeah.
You should be like, it should be like a flood in your restaurant. We need to fix this right now. It's costing us so much money. You can't even measure it, because like we talked about, bad training leads to bad culture, which means people are jaded in your restaurant, which means it's going to be higher turnover rate. Your employees aren't going to work for you. They're going to work for a paycheck. That's a big difference, because when they're working for a paycheck, when you're gone, when your back's turned, guess what? They're doing whatever they want, whether you want to understand that or not. And that leads to bad customer service. But bad customer service can also be lackluster. Hi, how's it going? Welcome. Can I start off something to drink? Is this your first time here? Awesome. Well, here's the menu. Yeah. Like when people are lackluster and they don't care about, they seem unmotivated, you can, no matter what, you can tell. It rubs off.
It could be as easy as just a smile on the face. Just approach the table with a smile on the face. That's it, basic. The amount of servers that we're going to a restaurant and they come to your table with a blank face like that. It costs nothing. Just goes like. One of the trainings I do here in Brazil, which is fantastic, I just go to the mirror and I think, look at yourself in the mirror. Now I'm going to tell you a sad story. Think on this on some of your life stories, and the saddest one that you've ever lived, the death of a loved one, whatever. Okay, now you think about that. Now show me your teeth. Just show me your teeth. Like, that's it. It doesn't matter. You're thinking of something really bad, but just show me yours. And it looks like you are a nice person. It looks like you're open to conversation. That's very basic and simple. Preston, let me just ask you a quick question. You have this formal training, okay, which is there. It's on the wall. On the 30th of May, we are going to have this specific training. These people should attend. It's a must for them, for these people to attend. Whoever else wants to attend this training is going to be conducted by X person, which is the manager or the maitre d', the chef de cuisine or whatever, and it is scheduled for 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Once you have that schedule and you have shown to everybody, it's their problem to structure the training, to make the training goes well, to make something that is to the trainee to feel they are in a good program, they are growing. Structure yourself. The first one is going to be a shit. It's going to be bad because they're not used to. But then the second one, when they are forced to post on the wall that the next meeting, the next training is going to be next month, they're going to make an effort to do it better. They're going to have to learn how to conduct a good training session. Okay, that's formal training. Okay, but forgetting about the formal training now, thinking about the day-to-day basis, how do you ensure a smooth shift on a restaurant on a day-to-day basis? Okay, supposing they are training, you have this formal schedule of training already going on the restaurant, like I used to have in the Hard Rock Cafe. Every week there was a training in all departments, and that's non-negotiable. But then you have the day-to-day. What's the role of the manager on this day-to-day basis to keep the mood up, to keep the service, as you said, the smile on the face, the not to have this lackluster approach to clients? What's the key, my friend?
I mean, I love that you said that, because it's exactly that, right? It's like, what is a manager's role? What is leadership's role? Because that's what it boils down to. In so many restaurants I worked at, You know, they have, unfortunately, this leads to bad culture, but because it's bad leadership, but they have the attitude of like, they know their job. We're paying them to do this, those types of things. You know, why am I doing this if I'm paying someone to do this? And that's a wrong attitude to have. So first, you know, if you want a smooth shift, there's three things I would say. One is mindset, right? It's just like anything else in life. You know, when you wake up in the morning, if you wake up in the morning and your significant other yells at you, and then you get into a car accident, and then you get pulled over by a cop on the way to work, by the time you get to work, you're going to be in a pretty bad mood. And you're going to be hard to work with. You're going to be difficult. Your mindset's going to be all messed up. So it's the same thing when someone,
You mean the employee mindset or the manager mindset? Both.
Just in general, I'm just saying, like, for as a human, right? Like, if you wake up in the morning and you have a bad day, you're gonna have a bad mindset, right? So when you start your shift, it's the same thing. Like, you're coming into the bubble, you're starting your shift, and if you come in and your job as a manager is to set the tone of the mindset, set the tone. So we're gonna have a shift meeting. And we're going to have we're going to talk about our goals. What is our goal here, by the way, guys? What's our goal? It's to make every guest into a repeat loyal guest. That's right. Awesome. Can anybody tell me like what we can do for a win? What did you do for a win last week or yesterday to get for a table? Can you just give me an example of a win? I did X, Y, and Z. That's awesome. See, like, let's try and focus on that. That's a really good tactic. If you see that opportunity, take it, guys. Who's planning on, do you have anybody a prepared win? You know, so when you start talking like that, you start motivating them, getting them in the mindset of winning culture, right? We're gonna get guests into loyal repeat guests. We're gonna do it X, Y, and Z way, and we're motivating them, you know, and then telling them what we're, 86, whatever problems you might have. We have a bunch of reservations at 6 p.m. We're gonna get them all at once.
Explain to the guys in Brazil here what's an 86. I know from Hard Rock, but it has to be explained here in Brazil.
Got you. 86 is when you're out of stock on something. So, hey, we're out of stock on the, we don't have salmon tonight. The delivery didn't come. Or
there's always something, right?
Yeah, multiple things. And so that way, they're obviously your staff's prepared, because no one likes to, find out the hard way, take the order, go back there, oh, we're out of it, or, or even if you're out of like a certain drink or a certain syrup, anything, people just like to be informed so they can be prepared. Because once they get it, the back end, they order and then they don't have it and they have to go back to their table, then they start getting jaded and they start getting upset, right? Because now it makes them look bad.
And Preston, what is the ritual for that? Everything that you mentioned, the mindset, the 86, the talk, you have to have the wins that from last week that you want to replicate, the wrongs from last week that you don't want to happen anymore. And the ritual for that is the pre-shift meeting, right?
Correct.
And that's every day. That's every shift, and it's a religious thing. It's something that has to happen like every day. Do you know of restaurants that they know that they have to the manager has to conduct that pre-shift meeting every day or every shift, but then he doesn't? I mean, I'm so busy. Shit, something happened. Oh, I'm 15 minutes late. Oh, and then they start out like, wow, every day everybody likes that. The mood is up. Everything is happening the way you wish it happened. But suddenly you ask again, you go back to their restaurant. Hey, where's the pre-shift meeting? Oh, does it happen to your customers?
Oh my gosh. It happens all the time, and it's and I've worked with restaurants that it was already like that. Oh, we usually try to do a pre-shift meeting, So I always tell restaurant owners and GMs, I say, like, this is not negotiable. Like, this is not a option. Oh, but there's a flood and there's this. That's fine. The pre-shift has to happen. To happen, because if you don't do your job, if you tell your employees, hey, we're gonna have a pre-shift every day, we're gonna go over X, Y, and Z, and they go, okay, got it, understood. You just stop doing them.
What is the message you're sending them all?
That rules are optional. That what you say, you break trust in leadership, and then you don't trust them. You're like, these guys in your head. You know how people are naturally. It's like, oh, they're lazy, they don't care, whatever. Yeah. So if they don't care, I don't care, right? Why would I care? And I'm saying that's not all employees, but I always say you need to work off of worst case scenarios, right? So they have to be necessary, A, and B, they have to be done the right way. Because if you sit there with a piece of paper and you go, hey guys, let's try and get some wins, 86 of salmon, we have 60 covers, there's 2 birthdays, okay? All right, guys, good luck. You know, then don't do it at that
Nothing.
point.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. So your role, your main role, like you said, the first thing that you said is mindset. Your main role as a manager is to set the right mood, to be enthusiastic about everything, right? Even if you're not.
Yes, of course.
You're an actor, but it should be like that. You should be an actor. You have to have the conscience that you are an actor.
Which is so funny because you brought up a good point, right? We're asking manager, do you want your staff to smile? Yes, I want my staff to smile. Okay, do you want them to smile if they're in a good mood or a bad mood? Yes. Do you want them to smile if they're having a good day, bad day? Yes.
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, exactly. If you're having a good day, bad day, you have to go to that shift meeting like you're a rock star. Everything I've learned from other people. And I've learned this from a GM that I had who was, oh my God, he would come in every day the same energy. He'd say, hey guys, listen, when I say something, I need you guys to say okay. All right. Just give me a little hand raise and say okay. And then, you know, if you'd be talking and maybe after the third one, people, okay, no, guys, come on, let's get the energy up. Come on. You know, every shift. So guess what? After that, every shift, you just go in there and you're like, I gotta do this.
It's like back in the kitchen and say, yes, chef.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Same exact thing. Yeah.
Listen, let me ask you, let's move. Let me shift a little bit our attention here to something that caught my attention when I first heard from you about customer retention. I think that is absolutely fantastic, your approach to customer retention. What's the importance of customer retention for any restaurant, for any food service business?
Customer retention to me is everything. It's going to be the life. It's going to be the life of your restaurant. You will not succeed without it. I think I have to look at the statistic again, but I think the second year a restaurant's open, like 60 or 70% of its business is through customer retention. But you know, it's paramount. You cannot survive without it.
How do you measure customer retention?
I mean, there's a couple different ways. I mean, there's Toast. Toast does a good job of that, where they do the analytics. So what I tell people is, anytime someone comes in, you ask for a phone number, no matter what. So 9 times out of 10, they just give it to you. But
okay.
The rare case that they say no, why do you need my phone number?
Yeah, it's okay. Like to reach 90% already.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you win. But that way you get the data and you can measure the data, because that's how you measure it, by having some sort of contact for them. But it's so important. And I've had restaurants come to me before, and they're saying, you know, I think my customer retention is good. My sales are good. My customer retention is good. And I go, okay, well, like, tell me some of the things you're doing for customer retention. Well, we give really good service. Okay, that's good. How do you give good service? Like, how do you know that? And they go, well, what do you mean? I go, how do you know you're giving good service? What do you have in like systems in place to make sure that your servers are doing what you're saying they're supposed to be doing? Oh, well, we don't. Well, I'm like, well, then how do you know you have good service? Do you have secret shoppers? No. It's like just nothing to measure it. They're just trusting their staff.
You don't have data. You don't have information.
No information, and you trusting your staff, which is fine, but you have to have data first. You can't scale on trust. You know that.
Okay. Okay, but Preston, just to let it very clear for whoever is listening to us, customer retention is actually making the customer come back to your place, right? This is retention. So you increase retention to the same to the amount of to the number of times that the customer is coming back to your place. Okay, a lot of retention means they're going to come back like 10 times in 1 year. So you're extending the lifetime value for that customer, right?
Exactly.
It's much easier to make money on repeat customer than with new customer that is going to be there for the first time. You don't know if they're going to like it or not. If they come back 1, 2, 3 times, they know they like it. You know they like your place, and it's much more likely they will come more times to your place than the guy that comes the first place and disappear, right? In the first time and disappear.
100%. And that's what you want. So, you know, you look at a customer that comes in, you did the hard part. You've got someone to walk through the door. That's the hardest part. They're walking through the door, they have their credit card, and they're saying, okay, let's do this. And now it's your job to prove yourself. And so, yeah, I like to use that exact formula you just said. You want to try and get people to come in 10 times a year for a full service restaurant. But you also want to make sure you're protecting that, right? Okay, so let's say they say it takes about 3 times to build full trust to make someone loyal in your restaurant. So 3 visits where they go, I officially trust this place, that subconsciously to get exactly what I want when I come in. I know exactly what's going to happen. I know I can trust this. So that's great. Okay, but if you do that, that's awesome. You're running a very well ran restaurant, but you have to protect that, because breaking someone's trust is very, very easy to do. It's so easy, and people underestimate how easy it is to do. It could be one little bad experience that breaks your trust. You can have someone that comes to your restaurant 10 times in a row, has the most amazing experience every time, and they come back, and one little hiccup, they're done.
How do you protect that? What are the main strategies for customer retention a restaurant can use?
So first of all, you want systems in place, right? You want systems in place. You want the proper training in place. Those are two huge, huge, huge components, because you want to make sure everyone's trained right the same way. And then you want to make sure there's systems in place to instill that training. So you have a hospitality experience that's focused solely on creating repeat guests, creating customer retention. And then you have systems in place that ensure that stays. Now, no matter what, we're working in the restaurant industry. We're dealing with people. We're doing a lot of moving parts. So you're not going to bat 1,000. You're going to have mistakes. Things are going to happen. You're going to break people's trust, but it's all about the rebound. It's all about how you fix it, right? So first, you have to train your staff to be proactive. And a great example of this, there's a million examples, but a great example of this is someone eats a dish and they push the dish forward, like they're done with it, and the dish is only half eaten. Okay, so there's a couple approaches here, right? You walk up.
There's a red light.
There's a red flag. Yeah, exactly. It should be, but surprisingly not as often as you think. So you walk up. Did you want a box for that, or would you like me to box this up for you? No, it's okay. I'm all good. So right away should be a follow-up question. If someone doesn't finish a dish or a drink, you should always probe, and not once but twice. Really try and get it out of them. Did you not? Was there something you weren't liking about that dish? I'm just curious. And then they're going to say, "But people are nice." No, it's fine. No, I liked it. Okay, are you 100% sure? I'm going to take it, but if there's something you didn't like about it, just let me know, because I want to make sure you don't pay for something you don't like. I'm not happy with that if you didn't enjoy it. Okay, to be honest with you, I just thought the flavor was a little bit lackluster, but it's my fault. I ordered it. No, thank you for letting me know. I'm going to let the kitchen know that, first of all, and I'm going to go ahead and take this off the bill. Okay, I do not want you paying for something you didn't enjoy. It's not a problem at all. Thank you for letting me know. Please, tell me anything you don't enjoy, and I'm going to make sure this experience is the best experience possible for you. Okay, that's awesome. Then they're going to be like, wow, so they didn't like that dish. You missed on the dish for them, but you won them over with hospitality, and it's almost more powerful than them liking the dish. But so those are little things, right, that you can to prevent them going, instead of going, I thought that place was good, but for some reason, the appetizer wasn't as good. Now I don't trust their food. Instead of that happening, now you have the hospitality experience that fixes it.
And maybe you can go even further and tell the kitchen staff that there was a problem with the food, and hey, look, you're not going to leave like that. Maybe I'm going to prepare the right food in the kitchen. I'm going to take it on a box so you can taste it in your place. You can see that we fixed the problem, and maybe you come back to have that dish again or to try something else. But I have another question for you. How do you ensure, because you have you said three things: system, training, and I am adding culture here because we discussed this already. The three things: culture, systems, and training. Okay, to ensure that you don't lose track of that customer retention. How do you involve the guys in the back there, the guys in the kitchen with this situation? For instance, okay, the server, he did his part. Okay, he acted fast, so he found out what was the problem. He insisted, so he won the client. But how about the kitchen? How do you involve them in the retention of the client?
Well, this is such an important component of the equation, and so it comes down to mindset and expectations. And so a lot of times, we all know this. Anybody who's ever worked in the restaurant industry, it's kitchen versus servers, right? Front of the house versus back of the house, right? Let's go, let's get it. They're always at each other's throats, and they don't know the menu well enough, and they're not fast enough, and they make it wrong. Just like so. But that's really important to fix. We need to mend that so they know they're one cohesive team. It's if you have a problem with the server not knowing the menu enough and it's frustrating you, and you're not going to listen to them when they're talking and help them out with a problem table accordingly, then that's going to be something we're going to hold you accountable for and talk to you about. If you have an issue with it, you can talk to management afterwards, but don't try and do it in the middle of the shift. What we need to do is have a mindset. So like you said, hey, this person got the garlic prawns. They said last time they got it, it was phenomenal. And then this time they said it just doesn't taste like there's enough garlic. It just tastes like off. You know, can we remake this for them? So the kitchen staff should have that mindset. Absolutely. Let's make it for them right now. I'm going to put it up front. Give me 5 minutes. I'll have it done in 5 minutes. Okay, awesome. And they run to the table versus that's the same recipe. It's what do you want me to do? How do I do it? I'm just going to make the same thing. You know?
Yeah. He's trying to find an excuse.
Exactly. So we want to have the kitchen on that mindset where they're like, how do we help? Or, hey, we just have so-and-so on table 41. They're regulars. This is their third time back this week. Can you make them something special, a little moosh boosh? And then the kitchen staff is, yep, absolutely done. I'm going to go do that for them. Maybe I'll even run it out. You know, maybe I'll run it out as one of the chefs or the cooks. I'll run it out and talk to them about this dish and what I just made for them. That's off menu to really put a nice touch on it. So when people have that mindset where you're like, you guys' job is to get people to come back. That's why we're here. That's why we're all here. So let's, do your part. What can you do? Talk about a win. Same thing, kitchen staff, talk about wins. How are you guys getting wins for the tables? How are you guys contributing? Do you guys have any ideas of what we can do to as a kitchen to get people to come back? What little extra steps we can take to make us separate from the competition? And that, again, it's all mindset, right? Talking to people about it.
Increase the awareness from the kitchen staff about this customer retention importance.
Exactly. Nailed it. Yeah, that's it. Increasing awareness and mindset.
Wow.
And that leads to culture.
Yeah, it's fantastic when you can nail the whole restaurant to this mission. Let's put it this way, and you brainstorm with that, and you implement that culture that everybody's involved on the customer retention, on the customer coming back, and how each person can help on the mission. If you can do that through the rituals, through the training, through the manager supervising the room, through the expo when he's there, he's checking the plates, he's seeing what's wrong. The first time he complains with the kitchen is like you said, bang.
yeah.
He's the first one that noticed that garlic shrimp, right?
Yes, exactly. And then all of a sudden, ding, ding, ding. That's another problem too, is that you want to make sure that your kitchen staff, your front of the house staff, your front of the house staff is comfortable approaching the kitchen with problems, because you want to give them all the tools they have to be able to rectify the problem properly. So you want them comfortable. So you want to make sure you're conducing that environment, right? How do we make sure that everybody's comfortable coming to the kitchen saying, hey guys, we need to fix this. Can you help me? And you brought up another good point. And my the old restaurateur told me the story. He's an old mentor of mine. And he said, have you ever been to a restaurant and the server is very professional, very on point, but then the busser is very unprofessional. The runner is unprofessional, not even unprofessional, but just kind of sloppy, you know. It seems like everybody should be on the same level as far as
lack of consistency.
Yes, everyone should be poised, and that again, like I talked about, everybody's mission goal should be to turn every guest into a loyal repeat guest. So the busser has their role too. The food runner has their role. The bar back has their role. Their roles are just as important. And it should be a restaurant where when you go there, you should think in your head that anybody the jobs can be interchangeable. Like that busser is so good at what he does. He could be the server. He holds himself in such poise. He could be a server. But then sometimes you go places and you're like, I know why that guy's a busser. Like he's not very.
He's supposed to be a busser until he dies.
Yeah, exactly. Like he does not seem like he cares very much, And so, but the server seems like they care a lot. So that's a huge disconnect. And it's like they're very important to have everybody on the same mindset with the same goals.
Wow, Preston, we are coming to the end of our nice interview. So good to talk to you. And we're kind of the same language, the same approach to service, to culture, to systems. That's what I preach to my students here in Brazil. So I liked a lot hearing from you, directly from you, a guy who has such an experience in chain restaurants as well as independent restaurants. We have such a long way to go to educate our students, our restaurant owners, the guys who try to promote that kind of culture. And I'm so happy to have found you. online. Share with our people here in Brazil how they can find you online.
So it's really simple. It's the 30 rule or just on Instagram, the 30 rule, the 30 rule.
Okay, I'll put on the notes of the show here. Okay.
Yeah, please do. And thank you for having me. Honestly, it was an honor.
Okay, it was an honor for me, my friend. We're going to do some other stuff together.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great to have you down here, my friend.
Have a good one.